Hello, it's Bethany, and today we are going to talk about my top 5 favorite activities in my lower elementary classroom. I teach lower elementary in a Montessori school, so I teach grades 1, 2, and 3, so any of these activities would be great for them. The first one I'll talk about is making like a keepsake for the end of the year. So I um, always like to do this. I did this when I was a child, and that's actually my monkey in the middle from when I was little. But we sewed sock monkeys, and then the next year we did elephants, and then this year we did bunnies. And it's a lot of fun. It's like an end of the year project for like a practical life skill, but it is a lot of fun to do with your students. The next one I usually do during our week. We have 1 week of testing, and but this would be a fun activity for like the end of the year too, when it is um winding down and the weather's getting hot, or at the beginning of the year too, when it's still hot outside. Unless you live in a place where there doesn't matter if there's different seasons, then you could do it any time of year. But it is a popsicle in which every day we add a layer of juice. Now I just buy pre-made juices, but you could make a layer of juice or like your own fresh juice. And so I like to have different types of juice, maybe ones they haven't seen before. There's a lot of different ones. I know watermelon was one they all had a lot, and they like to pick that one. But I just do a lot of different fruits. So every day, the first day, I have a juice tasting where they can taste the different types of juices and then say if they like them or not and put them in their layer order. So then I write down what their order is of the layers, and then I add them um, usually once a day to each layer until the end of the week when they can eat them. And now, another thing, this is one of my favorite memories from being a Montessori child, but I also did it for the first time this year. It was more stressful as an adult, but that was raising chickens in the classroom. And luckily a farm reached out and I got to give them back to the farm because I don't want to keep the chickens. But um what this was a long process. I have a longer video down below if you want to know even more about the chickens. But we did have the eggs for 21 days, and then we had the chickens for about 4 days in total. They hatched a little later than their hatch date, which is okay. I did have to help a few out. It was a lot, but the students extremely enjoyed the process, and they liked holding them. And we only had them for 4 days. We could have kept them for as long as we wanted, but there's just a lot that go into chickens. Like you have to make sure their bottoms stay clean and things like that. So I was like, 4 days is enough. Plus they get too big and try jumping out. Um, and they get big quickly. So I just was like, you know what, the 4 days for us will be enough this time, and that'll be good. We'll see if I ever do it again. It was a hard one, but it will be a favorite memory, and I'll always remember it. I know the kids will too, because when I was little, I remember doing it. It was like my favorite thing, and then so that is good. The next one I would suggest doing is a snack buffet. As we know, students love to eat, and typically in my classroom, the students bring their own snacks. I know some people do like a communal snack, but with that, I find like some kids might not like it. But a snack buffet was a perfect activity for the end of the year, where for one day, each student brought in snacks, and then we shared them throughout the day, and they got to pick a different snack each time. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of fun for the whole thing. Yeah, but that could be done any time of the year, you know. And then this last one is my favorite thing. It's probably my favorite thing we do all year because it takes a few months to do, is do our own class play. So the students write their own play, they act in it, and they just do a whole thing. I have a whole video explaining the process if you would like to do that. It's one of their favorite memories, and it's a lot of fun. So, for example, usually I like to pick something that where so then each student can have a part where they travel through something. For example, the first year we did traveling through each continent. The two main characters had to find a present for their friend, and so they had to go through every continent and hear different cultural facts about each continent in order to decide which where they wanted to get their present from. And then the next year we did traveling through time, so we did the different time periods, the Egyptians, Middle Ages, um, and all of those, the Renaissance. Yes, that was a good one as well. And then this year, the astronauts travel to all the different planets. So we'll see what we'll come up with this next year. And again, it's all student guided, but I do like to have them pick something where it could be like a journey through something that's like the easiest plot point, I would say. And then I know I said top five, but I'm going to give an honorable mention here because I know the first thing you mentioned was sewing, and that's a practical life, but I don't think that elementary gets enough of the practical life. I know it's different, and usually practical life is like scooping and buttoning and tying, even though still elementary students need help with those things. But um, I mention this because my favorite practical lives that I did this past year were actually hand-eye coordination. So one was juggling, and that was a lot of fun to have the kids try to juggle. And then another hand-eye coordination that I enjoyed and the students enjoyed as well was badminton. And now they got to do the practical life shelf after all their other work was completed. And yes, I have my students complete 10 works in a day and then they could be on free choice, which I have another whole video about that I could link below explaining the process of what works they have to do. So not a lot of students get on free choice every day, but each student at least a little bit throughout each month gets on free choice in which they can try the practical life shelf. And it's just a lot of fun. And I would definitely recommend hand-eye coordination because it gets them excited to do it. The other ones I did was music, Spanish, like a lifestyle skill. So in the photo there, I have like folding towels, healthy brain, which was the Rubik's Cube. I also had different, um, like brain mindful things, and then healthy body were different exercise movements, and then like business for like needs and wants and different things like that. But that was something that I enjoyed showing the students this year. I would like to know what some of your favorite um, activities that you do in your elementary class. If you want to leave them in the comments, that would be great. And thank you for watching.